Francis Kere is, I think, an exciting architect from Burkina Faso. The village raised funds for him to go and study abroad, which is how he got to Germany. But he made a decision after completing his studies to go back to Burkina, and he has made it his mission to be a responsive architect. His purpose is to create infrastructure for his people.
Hello, Michiel Riedijk.
Hi, Tracy.
Your cheeks are pink. You just won 50,000 euros.
Yeah, it's incredible. I don't believe it yet.
I'm sure.
It's astonishing. It feels surreal.
It does. You are the other half of the architecture firm Neutelings Riedijk.
Indeed.
One of the top firms in the Netherlands.
That's your words?
Those are my words, and I stand by them. And you have just won the Abe Bonnema Prize for your city hall in Deventer. What makes the city hall in Deventer so special that it's worth a prize of 50,000 euros?
Let's say, I would say that the main reason that we won it is that we made a building that blends into the urban fabric in a quite, let's say, appropriate manner. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, we were searching for an experience, not only an experience, we were searching for an expression that could relate to the Deventer population.
Yeah, and you found that in a very special, expressive way. Fingerprints of people from Deventer.
Indeed. So these fingerprints were collected in an art project, and there were something like 2,300 inhabitants from Deventer selected. Whether they are 90 or 9 months old, they all offered their finger or their toe, and these fingerprints were enlarged and treated and in a way adjusted that they form one overall composition within the facade, in order to express the fact that a town hall is also a kind of monumental endeavor. However, in this case, in order to rejuvenate a derelict part of the Deventer inner city, the city decided to invest in the inner city instead of opting for a town hall which is on the periphery, on an easy location with good car accessibility,
parking,
etc. They opted for this
wise decision.
They opted for this rather complex site, and by doing so, they claimed that the city is in fact for everybody, and the building ought to express that. And the fingerprints and the artwork are a way to convey that message. So, for that matter, I do believe that at the end of the day, public buildings ought to convey a political standpoint.
Absolutely. And I spoke to the chair of the jury just now, Esther Agricola, and I said, so why did this building win above the others? Because you had stiff competition. Yeah. And she said, I thought that was a beautiful compliment, Michiel. She said, because it sings.
Let's say I do not know whether the building sings, but I do think that buildings ought to speak. A building should speak and should reach out for the community it serves.
It does.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You're welcome, Tracy.
The essence is that housing in the future, it should be flexible, and to become sustainable, flexibility is one of the most important aspects of a building. So we designed a building that can either be an office building or housing. It can be divided into 48 apartments or just 7 apartments on 7 really large floors. And you can do anything in between, and you can alter it at any given moment.
And it's also made of wood.
It's also made of wood. It's a renewable building material. We think that's very important for sustainability. And of course, the apartments have a wonderful atmosphere due to the use of wood. It's also heated by wood, therefore it's CO2 neutral, given the fact that the wood comes from good foresting, and it's called a pellet burner. And one of the innovations that we are going to do is that we are also going to connect our pellet burner to the city heating system, so that we are going to be a decentral supplier to the city heating system, which has never been done in the Netherlands.
The Design Museum in Ghent is hosting a show created by the Vitra Museum called Hello Robot. I think the title is well chosen with that hello, because the whole show is about the way we're looking to find a new relationship to the robots that we've created and that may now be overtaking us. It's a show that is in equal parts utopian and dystopian about the wonderful things that robots do for us. There's an object called Tectodildonics, a robot-driven, smart masturbating machine for men. Who knew we needed one? And there's also a very sad project about a robot celebrating its birthday. And the candles just melt away because a robot doesn't have lungs or breath to blow out the candles. You also see that robots can be unbelievably helpful, helping people to walk who are unable to walk themselves, helping us build buildings in a very sustainable and fast fashion. At the same time, of course, robots are taking away our jobs and are taking away our humanity. And that's one of the fears that is the deeper underlying currents of this show. How do we find our new relationship to robots? What will they do for us and to us in the future? And basically, what does it mean to be human?